Six Nations round four, Ireland and Wales. It was a game. It was a hell of a game. Ireland 27, Wales 17. Not quite the blowout that was predicted, but it's still a Irish 4-try bonus point win, so they've done their part in putting their best foot forward for the rest of the Six Nations campaign, just the final round. Hoping the Scots could do them a favour, I suppose, but yeah, Wales, you take some, and it's another loss. You haven't won a Six Nations game in a very long time, but you got to take some sense of pride and optimism about the way you guys are playing, because it seems to be, first 2 weeks pretty well hammered, but the last two games have been tracking in the right direction. The scrums were a little bit of an interesting one because they were getting pinged kind of both ways. A lot of talk about the Irish scrum. Won a couple of penalties, conceded a couple at the end. But yeah, the talking point for mine, favourite moment of the game, and it's the losing team, but Rhys Carey, unbelievable try for a prop. Big fan, put the gas down. Oh my goodness, worth the price of admission to see that man score another try. He's 3 tries in this campaign, the first 2 burrowing over. This one, he's like, bugger it, I'll play in the back line, doesn't matter, or loose forward. Crazy stuff. We'll go through some of the key events and stats. You guys let us know your thoughts. Wales did have a fair bit of possession early, which was encouraging because I felt like if they're going to have any chance in this game, they don't want to be, 10, 20 points down within the first 20 minutes. But with that early ball, they had a couple of errors. Dan Edwards kicked it dead. And then from the resulting scrum, they conceded a penalty. So it was not the ideal start, and they got punished because from that possession and territory, Ireland went through the phases, and they were quite happy this game, Ireland, to seemingly revert to a little bit of the old style of just like, let's play ball in hand, relentless phases, not put boot to ball. Because remember, in the previous games, this Six Nations, Ireland's had less possession and territory than what they have of old. But yeah, they still managed to score. McCloskey from Gibson Park pops it to Stockdale. So it's another try assist for McCloskey. And Stockdale, great line. 7 points to 0 for Ireland. And they almost doubled down to make it that start that I was kind of worried about in terms of the competition. It would have been great for Ireland, but I was hoping for something of a competitive match. So if they'd scored here, maybe puts a bit of a different tone to the early stage of the game. Ireland 12 phases after a bit of a nothing Welsh box kick. So it's kind of like, again, you make a mistake, you're going to get punished. Well, they were lucky that after Conant had gone over for a seemingly sure try, they found that there was a wee knock-on from O'Toole, who was kind of playing halfback at that moment. So, yeah, lucky for Wales, because it was almost 2 mistakes and 2 times punished. But they managed to have a little bit of a resurgence of their own. They kicked a nice 50-22 from Lewis Rhys-Sama. A bit of loose Irish passing, to be fair. Maybe getting a little bit too casual, trying to open things up too much. And, results later on with a bit of Welsh pressure. A penalty, which they slot to make it 7-3. 7-3's a game on. And for me, sitting here as a neutral is more interesting than if it had been 14-0 after 10 minutes. Another 12 phases from Ireland, though, putting the pressure back on. Wales did manage to get a pilfer to kind of get themselves out of jail. They were holding off the relentless Irish attack, and then when they got a penalty of their own, they opted for the corner, which was bold because I thought maybe just take the 3, make it a 1-score game. But Wales showing a bit of, bit of aggression, bit of sense of going for the jugular. They managed to get Ireland on the yellow card warning. But Rhys Carey, when they had that 5-metre tap move, which has seen him score 2 tries thus far in the Six Nations, got held up close range. So again, that's maybe one which, if it goes the other way, sees the momentum shift for the game. But both sides, I guess, with kind of defensive sets, getting themselves out of jail. We did see Nathan Doak introduced into the game a little bit earlier than expected for his Irish debut, so congratulations to him, because Gibson Park had to go off for an injury treatment, but he did come back on not too long later. But it was good to see, because this game being as close as it was, I was worried Doak wouldn't get on. He did get back on later, but it was good to see him on. Maybe they should have used him for the goal kicking. That might be a thing going forward, because Gibson Park's a senior man at this point. Doak's 24? Your 10s aren't at the moment like put the mortgage on at goal kickers. So Nathan Doak may be a wee option, goal kicker 9. Just putting that out there because Doak's a pretty good player. But yeah, Ireland, they had a turn to win a penalty on defence and halt any Welsh momentum. Gibson Park came back on and went through a bunch of phases again before we saw Wales with another get out of jail. It was Alex Mann, who had one of the greatest defensive shifts, man. Dude made 30-odd tackles in this game. Pilfers a Gibson Park wide, one of those stretch passes that he always does. Man read it and probably saved Wales from another try conceded there. So great defensive read from him, gets them out of jail. But finally it did come, and it felt like an Irish try had been coming. Crowley is the man who finishes it. It had been a lot of phases. Timoney had gone very close. And to be fair, it kind of goes back, if you look way back, to Ireland stealing Welsh line-out ball. So kind of a mistake. Ireland put the relentless pressure on, and you can only hold it for so long. You can get pilfers, you can get intercepts, but eventually they're going to get the try, and it did come. So cracking stuff from Ireland just to put the squeeze on them. And yeah, misconversion, but 12 points to 3. So yeah, it's threatening again to maybe blow out, but not quite. Not quite, because we've still got Reece Carey before half-time. Oh my goodness, I should have put 40 plus 2, because it's not 42 as in the second half, it's the first half. They did free kick Ireland at scrum time, which was maybe a perfect reply from Wales, and then they got this wide ball. Like, you didn't know what he was going to do, because it's the second time you've seen Reece Carey out in that position. Like, kind of wider than you expect from your loose head prop. He had been everywhere. He'd been making big hits. He'd been taking close range carries. But he's got a man outside him. But there's a little bit of space. Just sticks the old big mid out on Balakoon. And then, honestly, hammer down stuff. Unbelievable try. Amazing. Amazing try from Reece Carey. He's in the form of his life. 12 points to 10. That try, it's a 2-point game at halftime. What a cracking first half. I think the first half is probably better overall entertainment value than the second. I don't know, but I was on the edge of my seat. It was a great first half. Defensive shifts from both sides. Like I mentioned, key defensive plays, big tackles. Like, I loved it. I loved every minute of that first half. It was fantastic stuff. The possession 64-36 to Ireland. Territory 62-38 to Ireland. That's what I'm talking about the Ireland of old, who just strangle you, like arm wrestle you down, grind you into the dust. That's what it felt like. But the scoreline's only 2 points. Like, line breaks is 6-1 to Ireland. Defenders beaten is 19-6 to Ireland. If you just look at the stats, it should be more in terms of the scoreline. But Wales have made 157 tackles. Goodness me, they're putting on a defensive shift. Kicks from hand is low. 7 by Ireland, 10 by Wales in the first half. Like, high ball in play. Cracking. Very entertaining first half. Second half, we get Conan actually getting himself on the board this time. They had the TMO check this one to make sure it was fine. As well, it was Gibson Park, who's always looking to keep the ball moving. It's a quick tap play, close range. Conan is able to power over. They TMO'd it to check that he had grounded it. It is given. So extended lead, 19 points to 6 for the Irish. Perfect start to the second half, really. Wales blow a few chances, like Josh Adams and Botham kind of had a break down the left. Could have combined, but Adams' pass goes into touch, so it's a bit of a missed chance. Ireland's scrum wins a penalty, so I'm convinced they're going to boss the scrum time, but then Wales' one wins a penalty in reply. From there, Wales go put on a fair bit of pressure on Ireland. They got a close range line out. They get a 5-meter tap. They needed to score, and they did. Botham, who's been under a bit of the microscope recently for the last week, but the last game where they scored that quick, the Scots scored that quick kickoff try. Well, Botham puts his name up for the right reasons this time, because he burrows over from close range to make it another 2-point game, 19 points to 17. So we do get the grandstand finish, which, apart from probably all the Irish fans in the crowd who would have much rather it be a bit of a blowout, was entertaining for the rest of us. But I do think Ireland did well in the last kind of 15 minutes or whatever it was to kind of not look like they were under as much pressure as the scoreboard might have indicated. Gibson Park went just short after a a break down the left, which had seen Stockdale to Conan. That pass looked a bit forward, but it wasn't, I guess, egregious enough for them to call it back. But then, yeah, Gibson Park very close. Thomas Williams gets in there cynically, which would get him yellow carded. But from the resulting advantage, we see Ireland get the try. This time it is Osborne. It's nice hands from the Irish backs. What was it? Gibson Park, McCloskey, Crowley, and then Stockdale before Osborne gets the ball. It's a nice try. Missed conversion, though. Come on, Jack. You got to kick that conversion. That conversion makes it a 2-score game, but I almost got to kick that one. He's an international goal kicker. You got to get that kick. He misses it, so it keeps it as a potential, 7-pointer is a potential draw here for the Welsh. They did put a bit of pressure on, but, Ireland held it out reasonably well. And then when they had a penalty on 76, 77 minutes, Crowley's just up in Doris's face, like, let's take the points. He doesn't give Doak the tee. He wants the kick. He gets the kick. So 27-17. Wales did chase the losing bonus point at the death, but Tyburn finishes the game off by winning a turnover, as he is like to do. So very, very entertaining game. There's some positives here for Wales. Ireland got a good game out of it. They got the result they needed in the scheme of things with 4 tries. Personally, I'm glad it wasn't a blowout, and we got to see one of the best prop tries ever with Reece Carey. Possession, 58-42 to Ireland. Territory, 52-48 to Wales. Relatively even-ish stuff, especially in the second half, given how lopsided it was in the first. Line breaks, though, was 9-2 to Ireland, so maybe they should have scored more. 4 of those are Rob Ballacoon. Jeez, he's lightning. Defenders beaten 31-9, again, to Ireland, although the Welsh did make 240 tackles. So percentage-wise, they didn't miss as many as that might look to be. If you only make 150 tackles and you miss 31, it looks worse than if you're making 240. Ireland, for them, had to make 176. Alex Mann, 32 tackles made. What a shift. Jenkins, 27, both from 26. Doris was the top tackler for Ireland, alongside, I think, Kelleher with 17. So, yeah, big defensive shift from the Welsh guys. Stockdale, 6 defenders beaten. Crazy stuff, man. You had Ballacoon with the wee offload to Frawley towards the end. You had McCarthy putting in grubbers. Crazy game. I am entertained. I hope you guys were as well. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. We'll be talking some more Six Nations. You guys let us know your thoughts on this game. Take care, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.